Hello, lovely people. It is such a stormy day here at the meeting place of heaven and earth that was all set up outside, and then the wind made me come inside. So, God and Goddess, thank you so much for this day and for all of the needs that you have already provided, the fresh air, the warmth, the ability to wake up, the food, the water. Thank you so much for everything that you give us. Help us to really remember the small things, especially in times where things are more cloudy and we maybe aren't able to see our blessings as clearly. Help us to remember why we came to this earth and to climb the golden ladder and spread love and peace and joy and compassion wherever we go so that we can make this world into a garden paradise once more. In the name of Elohim I pray. Amen. Today on the Nasarean calendar, come back. Okay, it is Humanity Day. Let me make sure my screen is clear. Our God and Goddess, immanent and transcendent, send to all your angel of peace. To humanity, send your angel of holy work. Blessed is the being who finds their holy work and does it. The good book says that they need not ask any other blessing, but to, be aligned with it. It would be a really great thing if all humanity was aligned with their holy work. We wouldn't be having these issues that we are having in the world, to say it very shortly. All right. David D says, today we will learn about Peter and the dark cloud directing him. Exactly. That is what I was trying to portray in my thumbnail. We're going to be reading from the Holy Megillah, the Nasarean Bible of the Essene Way, translated by Day of Greenleaf and available at essene.org. We're up to chapter 41. If you remember the last few chapters, Christ and Miriam came and met up with John the Baptist. They all three walked on water and baptized each other. And now we're getting up to chapter 41. And I'll also put in the mention of the scroll of John the Baptist because it was really awesome. Chapter 41, called Peter Returns and Leads the First Schism Against the Lord and Lady. Hey, Kyle. I saw Bob in there as well. Good thing I have a different device today. Bob says it's also overcast in Vancouver. God and Goddess, please send us that sun to warm us up. That night, the 50 and the 12 and the 7, remember Yahshua's 12 apostles and Miriam's, they all joined up. And then John was also, teaching to a 50 that had been in the encampment with him as well. So that's who we are talking about. Behold, Peter the Ebionite entered the encampment in the late evening, many hours after the baptism of the Lord and Lady. Peter began demanding that he be told what had occurred this day in his absence. For prior to being gone this one day, Peter had stayed in the encampment of John the Baptist for 1 week. During the time of the great miracle of the walking on the water, Peter had gone to seek food supplies. For lo, the 50 and John had been fasting, but Peter quit the fast and went to find fish. For though Peter proclaimed himself a vegetarian, he yet ate fish and greatly desired to devour some. It's interesting how they, call fish the vegetable of the sea, and how even in our modern day, they kind of tried to divorce fish from meat and even different types of meats, but it's all meat at the end of the day, right? Now, having returned and noticed the addition of 21 persons, the Lord and his 12, plus the lady and her 7, Peter pondered the large group that had joined the encampment of John. With great indignation, Peter snorted in scorn when he noticed that the tents of the newly arrived unmarried women were not separated from the tents of the newly arrived men. Peter believed this to be unholy. In the late night, while most slept, Peter crept into the region of the encampment occupied by the tents of the newcomers. He placed his ear to the side of each tent, listening for the sounds of illicit fornication. When he placed his ear to the tent of the Lord and Lady, behold, Peter heard the sounds of sexual embrace. Within himself, Peter said, "Tomorrow I will expose their shame to the entire encampment and declare myself the new leader. For I am Jacob, the successor to the office of true prophet, and the second is always greater than the first." In the morning, Peter called a meeting of the entire encampment and declared, "I arrived late last night and was told that a miracle had occurred. I was told that the assembly witnessed John and also the newcomers Joshua and Miriam walking upon water. But the morning light reveals a dark secret: unmarried men and women sleeping too near one another. And in more than one bed, I am certain that illicit fornication occurred. Behold, when I placed my ear to the tent of Joshua and Miriam, who are unwed, I heard the sounds of lovemaking, illegal and shameful for the unmarried. And my teacher of 1 week, John the Baptizer, is guilty of polluting this sacred pool with the flesh of a woman who is a fornicator and who claims the right of women to the priesthood. Wherefore, I declare myself the successor of Joshua and John. For it has been revealed to me in a dream that I will be the successor of both John the Baptist and Joshua the Messiah. But I will take the teachings not to the Gentiles, neither to Nasareans, but to the Aaronites. According to my doctrine of the true prophet, each prophet is succeeded by a greater prophet, who is called Ha-Jacob, which means the successor. I acknowledge that Joshua was the Christ of God, and that I am his successor. I acknowledge that John was a prophet, and that I am his successor. Behold, though Joshua and John have both fallen, I will now raise them from the dead. But before I pronounce them clean to serve me in my ministry, I must be given the secret of walking on water. For as their Jacob, I am entitled to all that they possess, even their magic." The Lord and Lady walked from the camp out onto the water of the baptismal pool, stopping in the center atop the water. Joshua said to Peter, "Behold, the secret." Joshua then embraced Miriam and kissed her on the forehead and both cheeks, which is the Nasarean kiss of peace. Peter then stepped onto the water, but fell into it. Lo, Peter was unable to walk upon the water. Miriam said, "When you embrace the divine feminine within and find her throne next to the throne of the divine masculine, and stand in the place of balance that is the center and the circumference, then and only then will you walk on water in the manner of the Lord and Lady and the baptizer. Even so, we can teach you another way to walk on water, that way being by the help of your friends in the way of Christ. But even that manner of walking on water is yet beyond your attainment. For behold, until you become an empty wine bag, you cannot receive new wine. Now you are full of opinions about this and that, some correct, some false. How can you be the successor of that which is beyond you on the ladder of consciousness?" Peter said to Miriam, "Woman, be silent. When you discourse as though you had the authority of a man, you disgrace yourself. Behold, every time you speak on spiritual matters, you take away the opportunity of a man to discourse. That is unseemly, and you are disgraced." Then Peter addressed the Lord. "Send this woman and the other women away. For lo, it is unseemly for holy men to travel with unmarried women. You have made her no better than a harlot. She even wears the oil of the harlots, for behold, she smells of lavender." Yeshua replied to Peter, "Miriam of Magdala is the dove of Janah, my eternal wife. She is my eternal lover. Miriam and I were wedded long before this world came into being. Behold, Miriam and I are forever wed, without a pause, even when we come to a new world. For lo, why would a happy couple like us let anything harm our pre-existing, never to be severed marriage vows? Taking a new incarnation does not sever our marriage vows, even if we are unusual in that marriage agreement. Nevertheless, we plan on being wed in human manner at Cana. Behold, Jacob means heel catcher. It not only can be interpreted as successor, but also as follower. Until you first follow, you cannot be the successor. For only one who walks the way can know the way. And only one who knows the way can teach the way. And only that one is trusted with the keys to the ascending heavens. Behold, when you hear the rhythm of the lovemaking of the Lord and Lady and recognize it as your own heartbeat, yea, and as the heartbeat of the great dance, then you will be a true prophet. And if that happens in this lifetime, know this: how great a prophet you are compared to other prophets is not based on who you follow, but on who you are. Yea, by your own thoughts, words, and deeds do you rise or fall on the ladder of consciousness, not by claiming to be the successor of someone whom you have neither known nor followed. Nevertheless, Peter, I confess that I did not place my awareness on the outside of our tent when I embraced Miriam. Indeed, I was so focused on Miriam's sweet vibration that I paid little attention to your inharmonious vibration as it crept up to our tent and wiggled in the outer darkness. For when I meditate in this way with Miriam, I place my attention on her. Yea, when I embrace my wife, she has my undivided attention. Lo, turn over a stone, and there you see our embrace. Look up at the stars, and there we make love. Split a log, and there is I am, emanating the masculine and feminine principles that we are. Woe to the world if the Lord and Lady cease our eternal embrace, for then would end the great dance that gives birth to the all. Then Yeshua, as he often did unashamedly before others, kissed Miriam on the lips. Peter shouted to the assembled encampment, "Any of you who choose to follow me and walk out of this congregation of ungodliness, do so now. For God now appoints me as the successor to both Joshua and John, for they have fallen, and I am the next true prophet. Their teachings include truths that apply to all people, but their Nasarean beliefs got in the way of most people accepting those truths. That is where I come in. I will take their doctrine, throw out that which is too contrary to the Torah, and improve both the Nasarean and Aaronite religions. But I am not the one who will fulfill the Aaronite scriptures that declare that the Christ will be crucified and a spear thrust in his side and his robe divided amongst the crucifiers. No, I am the successor to that Messiah. I will be his apostle to the Aaronites. and he will be the crucified lamb. He receives the supreme glory of being the crucified lamb of the scriptures, and I am his authorized successor. And my throne will be in Rome, for I am the one who will keep the peace between the Romans and this land. And I will preach that Christ was crucified for the sins of the people. I will be hailed as the foundation stone. I will be the interpreter of the crucified Christ and will establish a universal church in his name. And I will be its head. And that is according to the voice of the God that came to me from a dark cloud within my dream. As to his Nasarean followers who do not accept that I now sit in his chair, they will remain what they currently are, a persecuted minority sect that amounts to next to nothing. And the prophecy that I have just uttered is the word of God. Peter again shouted to the assembly of John, saying, I am Jacob the successor. Hear my words. For lo, I know how to be spellbinding like Joshua and John. For I met the prophet Aaron in my dream, and he gave me the keys to his system of magic. And I now bind you in my spell. But my spell leaves you free to choose in one regard. You may freely leave with me now while I grant that freedom, or you may rally around the one still standing after the crucifixion. And that, my God revealed to me, will be me. Peter then stormed out of the encampment. One man followed. His name was Andrew, and he became the first disciple of Peter the Ebionite. Peter now called himself Jacob. The little footnote here mentions that Jacob came into English as both Jacob and James, and it says that it's very likely that the historical references to Joshua's brother James are in fact references to Peter, who claimed to be Joshua's brother. Who claimed to be Joshua's brother. Joshua's Jacob or successor. Sorry. I was thinking of Aaron claiming to be Moses' brother, and just interesting that Aaron was also the one that came to this false prophet in his dream. Well, claimed as well, because how does he actually know that it was the prophet Aaron that came into his dream, rather than being messed with by other entities that are able to manifest themselves in our dreams? And it'll be fun to talk more about the dream world once we get further into the Holy Godspell. But that is the end of chapter 41. The next chapter we will get into tomorrow. Lord and Lady instruct John's remnant. And then after that, the wedding of Yahshua and Miriam. Woohoo! Exciting stuff. In the next few days, I'm going to be heading up to Florence because church is on Sunday. But later today at 3:30 p.m., I'm going to jump on here to talk to you about the truth of our reality. I have some video clips that I already have ready to go to share with you, just talking about some of the things that are going on in our world today. I would love for you to jump on. We'll do live chat, so whatever you want to talk about, we'll talk about that. And yeah, I know that there's a little bit of a lag. So David is saying you going live at 3:30. Yes, I will be here at 3:30. I think I already have the thing scheduled. If not posted already, I will post it after I get off of here. But yes, I will be doing that at 3:30. And then after that tonight at 5 p.m., Sister Jennifer asked me to run the prayer meeting. So I will be doing that. We'll see how that goes. It hasn't really, it's a very small group so far. And it's been the one other time I led it and I wasn't really, exactly sure what I was supposed to do to some extent, to try to engage other people and get them to pray as well. So it's a fun little new thing for me to learn how to do. But I'm excited to do it, and it's helping me, all the prayer in my life in general. So I am excited to do it. I will catch up with you at 3:30. Halo to Felix. Halo. We should start saying halo to you instead of hello. Anyways, I will catch up with you at 3:30, and then tomorrow we will continue reading from the Holy Megillah. Have a wonderful day. May God and the goddess bless you.